So Brandon, do you want to kind of let people, if they don't know who you are, let them
You got
know
it.
who you are? Give the people what they want.
So I'll give you the quick story. So about 11 years ago, um, I moved to Arizona 11, 12 years ago, moved to Arizona and wanted to get into real estate. I think like a lot of people read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. So I knew that real estate was going to be a way to, wealth. And I found a podcast. This is when podcasts are still pretty new,
Mhm.
called Flip to Freedom. And there's a guy in Phoenix, Arizona, where I lived, that had this podcast called Flip to Freedom, which happened to be Sean Terry. So I found out that Sean lived locally, and I was able to get in contact with him. And Sean would have like little meetups, and we would go to like a little bakery, and we would like a Panera Bread or something like that, and we would have about like 5 of us, 8 of us together, and he would talk about how to write Yell letters and how to find deals and stuff. And at the time, I was working at Wells Fargo. I was working like 60 hours a week.
Wow.
Sean also at this time he launched a program called the Flip to Freedom Academy, like
Mhm.
the original Flip to Freedom Academy. I was like the 36th or 37th person to sign up.
Wow.
So I remember it was like $97 a month. I was afraid to tell my wife that I was signing up for something so expensive,
Gosh.
and
Isn't that
and
crazy now?
it made all the difference because I learned how to do marketing. I found my first deal off of Craigslist. My family would go to bed at night. I would write down all the phone numbers of for sale by owners, and I would call them on my breaks and my lunch break at work. And I only focused on Mesa, Arizona, because that's where I lived at the time, and Tempe, Arizona, because that's where my work was. I worked for Wells Fargo Home Mortgage.
Right.
And so I only had time to make a few calls and maybe stop by places after that. So I found my first deal as an inherited property off of Craigslist, asked Sean to come over and help me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do paperwork or anything. We got the deal locked up, and it was my very first deal was a joint venture deal, was a co-wholesale deal with Sean Terry.
Wow.
And we sold the deal for $11,000. We split it 50-50. But what's ironic is 30 days before that, I wrote down on an index card, and I wrote down my goal on an index card, and I just said, I will make $5,000 through wholesaling in the next 30 days. And I
Wow.
made $5,500 the day after my birthday, which was 31 days.
Wow, man. So it
So
manifested itself.
it sure did, yeah.
Go to investorthrive.com right now to check out some of our free training on how you can make money as a real estate investor, or schedule a time with me so we can chat about our mastermind mentorship and how we can help you learn how to wholesale nationwide and grow your business.
Yeah,
Wow.
and everyone remembers their first deal. This was the craziest deal. I mean, the lady, we had to help her move. I took a day off of work. We helped her move into an apartment.
Oh.
Sean was like hooking up the cable, hanging up pictures.
Oh
We were
God.
moving furniture. She had a lot of animals. She had a dog that was literally on death's doorstep.
Yeah. On
It
his on,
stunk. It literally was not. She said, "I don't have the heart to go put it down. Will you please take it to go put it down?" Like the dog couldn't
oh
even walk.
gosh.
We had to pick it up, bring it down to go get the dog put down. And we thought we were all done. And she's like, "Oh no, we have the tortoise in the backyard." I'm like, "A tortoise? What?"
Oh gosh.
So we go to the backyard, and there's this gigantic, like humongous desert tortoise that was just buried itself in the backyard. So we had to call the Phoenix Zoo to come as a
What?
herpetologist or something, come and pick up the tortoise and bring it to the zoo. So we donated it to the zoo. So that was my
That's
first deal.
that's unreal, bro. So let me ask you a question, because a lot of people, when they hear that you went and worked with Sean or some other people when you co-wholesale, could you have gotten this deal without Sean at that time?
Um, it was very helpful to have Sean. I
Could you
mean,
have done it
he's
though?
done. I probably could have because of some education. I probably could have done it, and I would have stumbled through it. But I
Mm,
really feel like, and I'm a big believer in this, is to lean on the experts, lean on people that have done it before.
mhm.
Like I was able to learn so much more in a shorter amount of time, you know, doing that deal with him. But kind of I believe that you should look for mentors. I think that mentors are great and that they can help you get where you want to go a lot faster.
Yeah, so the reason why I asked you that is because do you think you would have been able to find the buyer that got you the $11,000 fee at that time at least?
Mm, it would have taken me longer. I mean, for him, it was instant. It was pretty much a phone call or two,
Okay. It
like the same day.
was just quicker, less hassle because you powered up
Lot
and you learned a
faster.
lot. Okay.
Yeah, I went a lot faster for sure.
Because what I found is when people do deals themselves, like without a mentor, without wholesaling or asking for help in the beginning, they usually can
Mhm.
get it done if it's a deal, but they don't make as much because their buyers aren't as strong. Like I know
Right.
in the beginning when we first started wholesaling, if we left a lot of money on the table because we were getting. I mean, buyers can smell. They can smell if there's blood in the water. They know if you're new, and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have to offer you this, or we actually had a buyer who right before we were about to close was like, yeah, guys, I'm actually gonna have to be a lot lower. And he like beat us up like a couple days before close, but we were new, so we're like, yeah, whatever. We just want the deal done.
We just want to close it, right? Get the
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a big help. Now, Sean's been a big mentor of mine, and I know you know this, but not everyone knows this. But fast forward a couple years later, I was still in the mortgage business. I have done several deals. Sean asked me to come work for him, so I went to go work for Sean as his disposition manager. So I did dispositions and some acquisitions, a couple, and then I became the COO, the chief operations officer. I ran the whole real estate company basically.
Wow.
Sean would go on vacation to California, and we'd hear from him on a Monday morning meeting once in a while. But all summer long, we pretty much did it all on our own, and it was because of Sean's guidance and help and processes that he already had in place. But we were doing right out of the gate. Just to kind of give you an idea of how much of a difference it made. So, as an employee, as a mortgage person, I think my best year was probably close to $80,000 in a year. That's a pretty good year.
Yeah.
And whenever I went to go work for Sean, my very first year, I made $175,000 and never made less than that again.
Wow. So Sean, he convinced you to leave your job, and that really
Yeah.
benefited you.
Yeah, I had the golden handcuffs. I didn't want to, and I was scared because I had benefits. I had a good paying job, but the people at the mortgage company said, "Hey, if it doesn't work out, you can always come back." They love
Yeah.
me, so I was like, "Oh,
You
sweet."
felt
So I
safe.
felt like I was safe.
Have
So
you ever wanted to go back?
no, not once.
But you say you're working 60 hours a week. What were they having you do over there at Wells
Well,
Fargo?
it was during the big refinance boom. They had, the HARP loans. It was right after the crash, and a lot of people were upside down and trying to refinance homes and stuff.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
what do you think about what's happening right now with interest rates going up? I think they're at 5.2% right now. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
And yeah, the Fed just raised it right today.
Yeah. I was driving.
Um,
There's billboards in Salt Lake City, Utah, where they have like the interest rates like right on, like they change
yeah.
every
Oh,
day.
really?
Yeah. So you drive and
Almost
you're
like
like,
gas prices or something, huh?
yeah, you're driving and you see a billboard that says Mortgage Mike and it's like 5.1 and you're like, oh no. And it keeps going up.
Right.
That's how I got my name, Real Estate Nate. As I was driving, I saw a billboard that said Mortgage Mike. I said, man, I wish I had a cool name like that. And then I was like, Real Estate
Oh,
Nate.
then it was born. There
It
it
was
goes.
born. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think
Well,
about the interest rates going up? What are you
so
hearing?
today's May 4th, 2022. So I think that if we're in a football game, we're beyond the fourth quarter. I think we're in overtime. I
Hmm.
think we're in overtime. Interest rates are going up. We've had double digit, prices on houses have gone up. Like in Phoenix, Arizona, if we have a 50% drop on houses,
Hmm.
it goes down to the prices that they were 2 years ago.
Crazy, man. Unreal.
So I think we're towards the top. One of my students gave an example. It's kind of like if we're on a roller coaster, we're at that little point right before you kind of, and before you go down. So
So
I don't know
we're
who
going
knows the
down.
exact
You think we're
who
going
knows the
down?
exact date and the exact month, but I think it's probably this year. I think it's this year. It may trickle on, depending if there's any government programs that come out. But I mean, we've had evictions postponed, we had foreclosures postponed. Investors, it's easier for investors to buy more properties, especially the hedge funds and stuff like that. So inventory's dried up. I think
do
there's
you
going to be a
think
correction.
do you think the prices are gonna like drop pretty significantly low, even though there's not the inventory is really low? Because that's usually what stops the prices from going down is the inventory. There's not a lot of inventory.
So there's a shadow inventory. There's a lot of people like, well, we have no inventory, and they're right. There's for active listings in Maricopa County, we're under 4,000 listings, active listings.
Yeah,
We're
and Salt
a
Lake City
good
is so low.
healthy market's over 30,000.
Mhm.
That's a healthy market. So we're definitely low, but what's happened is there's over 16 million vacant homes in the United States right now. And there's just in Florida alone, it's almost I think it's 1.6 million alone.
Yeah.
1.7.
So what's the
I
solution
think
here?
there's a shadow inventory.
Okay, shadow inventory. So what were we talking about for the call? You're saying be prepared to buy the right way, right?
Yeah.
So what do you mean by
As a
that?
wholesaler, and I love wholesaling, right? We can buy in an up market, we can buy in a flat stagnant market, or we can buy in a down market. It's just a matter of adjusting your offer to that. And if you're doing any buy and hold stuff, if you're doing any sub two investing, or just make sure you're buying it right, make sure it cash flows. And especially if you're doing any wraps, sub twos, carrybacks, any of that stuff, and you have a balloon payment in the next, 3 to 5 years, just get a clause in there allowing you to extend another 3 to 5 years if you need to.
So let's talk about that clause. What would that look like? The clause would say, what would it say?
It's pretty much whatever you want to say. On my very first seller carryback deal, it was a real estate agent that owned it free and clear. She was just stuck on her price. She just wanted her price. So we gave her a down payment. We gave her a good interest rate. I had a balloon in 5 years. That means we had to pay off that loan in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my friends and mentors, he just helped me write out this clause. So for an extra $1,000, we can extend for another 5 years.
Okay. And the payments,
So
everything stays the same?
Everything stays the same. Yeah. So and you don't even have to give $1,000. You can just say we have the right to extend for another 5 years, or the house has to appraise at a certain X amount or a certain percentage of whenever you bought it. But the reality is just one little line saying that you have a right to extend the balloon for another 3 to 5 years. I think you can be safe.
I have someone that is asking a question. Balloon payment in 7 years, and he will extend if doesn't appraise. So is that like
Beautiful.
what is something
Perfect.
like that? Like,
yeah.
So we'll pay
it needs to appraise. Yeah.
Okay, we'll pay $1 million in 7 years if it appraises for that.
Well, and some people, I don't like to have any balloons if you can avoid it, right? But if you do, and a lot of people use the Burr method to refinance out of the property.
Right.
And most of the time, most mortgage companies, if the house appraises at 100,000, they'll loan at 80,000. So they'll loan at 80% of whatever the value is, typically. So you want to make sure whatever your refinance is, it will be 80% of whatever that appraised value is.
Got it. That's interesting, because we're doing a subject to deal right now, and obviously we're trying to sell it as much as can. I don't know what will happen, but I mean, we have a flip too. I mean, there's a lot of builders out there that are building stuff. I mean, if something happens, it's going to affect a lot of people. And we have 2 properties, and the rest are wholesale deals. But it's crazy because when COVID hit, all the buyers stopped buying, but there was one guy in our market that was like, I'll buy everything, forget this. And he just absolutely has crushed it. So who knows what's going to happen? It could keep going up. My neighborhood just keeps going up. Maybe interest rates, that might not stop anybody. Who knows?
And I think it's going to vary depending on the parts of the market, the different pockets of the nation, right? So
100%. Like Salt Lake City,
Arizona, we're a boom and bust state. We're kind of a boom and bust, and other, like I grew up in the Midwest, so it's kind of more level, maybe 4 or 5%.
Like Salt Lake City, because there's already kind of a shortage here, and there's it's like they say you're landlocked, right? Who knows what will happen here compared to Illinois or Indianapolis? It's probably gonna be different. Cool,
man.
I
think affordability is a big thing. We used to live in San Diego. And we rented a house there from a family member, and the house at the time, I think back in 2000 before the crash was pushing up around 300,000. The same neighborhood right now, they have houses. These are built in 1960, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, like 1,000 square feet,
Those tiny
selling
homes.
over $1 million right now.
Oof.
So I think home affordability is going to be a huge point too.
Yeah, man, it honestly doesn't make sense. It's unreal. Like my wife's grandpa, he bought his house for $16,000 in Canada, and when 40, 50 years ago, however long, and he just
Yeah.
sold for 1.3 million in Canada. And this is like a 2,000 square foot home. Canada, if we're talking the
Wow.
United States is going to get rocked, Canada's in trouble, man, because their prices are just ridiculous, and they don't even have fixed mortgages. They do variable. They'll give you a fixed rate for 5 years, and then it can change after that. So a lot of
wow.
people, I mean, I don't know what I can't predict what's going to happen in Canada, but the prices over there are ridiculous. It's
I think the key's just watching out. If you start seeing a lot of the big investors and hedge funds start selling properties off, that's going to put a lot more supply out there, and prices will start to fall. So just be aware. It's not doomsday. It's just we can make money in any market.
Hey, honestly, it's never doomsday. You know why? Because you can't give up. You can't stop. I talked to an investor. I love this podcast I did with John Maxim. The guy, he told me, he's like, yo, man, I've gone broke 3 times, and I keep coming back. And the thing is, it's like, if something crazy happens, it's not just going to happen to me or you. It's going to happen, but we'll bounce back. We've learned the skill sets to get properties, to wholesale, to fix and flip. I mean, we know the skill sets. So, what's really interesting, Brandon? I get people. We're on this podcast, and I got a bunch of people asking questions like, "Hey, who's got a buyer in Texas?" I'm like, "Well, we're on a podcast. No offense to anybody. Hey, ask the questions, but they're just.
Hey, Nate has buyers in Texas. I have buyers in Texas. We can help you out, right?
I was just kidding. That was just an example. This one guy said, "What is your guys' minimum net cash flow you would take on for a rental?" So he's asking us a question. Maybe let's answer that.
Okay,
Brandon, don't we say a minimum cash flow on a rental that we would take is $300?
Bare minimum. Yeah,
Bare minimum.
Right now, I'd probably want to get 4 to 5. At least. And the reason being because you just want to if some markets will never be affected on the rent prices, but some they may shrink a little bit. I think like in Arizona, we've tripled our rent. I'm actually living in one of my old rental properties, and we used to rent it, I think, for $13.50, and
now
I think
2, right?
I think it's over 3. It's over 3.
You're kidding.
Yeah, over 3,000 for
just afford 3. Like, I mean, you got to be making some serious money. Just put aside 3,000 just for rent, and that's nuts, man. That's crazy.
No, I mean, it's just and in Queen Creek, Arizona, when I first moved out here, there was people that were losing homes, going back to the foreclosure or short selling their houses. There was a couple that had a house that was their house payment was $1,500 a month, and they decided to short sell the house, and they moved next door, and the rent was $700.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, but anyway, so Brandon, let's kind of talk. So let's talk about how we met, and kind of then after we talk about how we met and how you helped us out, we'll talk about what you're doing now to help others, like you helped me.
Sure.
Then we can wrap it up because we don't make these too long. But so Brandon, me and Corey Royce, my business partner, everybody, if you don't know, we started doing wholesaling nationwide, and we just went all in on pay-per-click. That's all we did. We didn't do texting. We didn't do cold calling, any other marketing channel at the time. We literally just went all in on pay-per-click, and we didn't have the wholesaling nationwide thing figured out yet. So we pretty much spent ourselves into a big hole, and that has happened to lots of people who do wholesaling nationwide pay-per-click, because it's a learning curve, right? You got to learn how to get buyers, you got to learn how to analyze properties, but once you do, it can be very lucrative. So anyway, when we met with Brandon, we reached out to him. We said, look, man, like, we're smart, we're not dumb, but there's something going on and we're in trouble. And Brandon, you were nice enough to work with us and help us out, and I think we joined the mentorship, but you took out time out of your schedule to work with us. And you remember that time when me and Corey were super distraught. We were like, dude, I don't know what.
I saw it. Oh, I saw it
in our eyes, and you called it out. You're like, you guys look like you're done.
But you know what here's the thing that I don't know if everyone knows your story, but I mean, you've invested in education. You guys have gone through some of the top educators and masterminds and friends of mine, good gurus, and a lot of. I mean, you guys are very knowledgeable. I mean, you guys learn from Alex Youngblood, Jerry Norton, Carlos Reyes, Sal Shakir, right? A lot of these, Sean Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what happened is what happened to a lot of us that started doing PPC nationwide is we're blowing money and waiting for something to drop, and it gets stressful. You guys, I don't think you were even taking money out of the business yet,
We
or would
were
take out
paying
a
us
little bit here and
very
there,
little,
right?
very little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
we
then
want, yeah, we're looking
yeah,
at
go
it as
ahead.
an investment, like, oh, we'll get it back. But if you're not, if you don't have the right mentor or someone to help you out, you could lose your money very quickly.
Hey, but you know what? Now you just took one little bit of instruction, and I said, well, one of the things, like my very first deal was a joint venture deal.
Mm-hmm.
I you had all the knowledge in the world, you had all the experience in the world, you knew how to find buyers, you just needed more deals.
Right.
So you started opening up your heart and helping out
Mhm.
others on social media and Facebook. You created your own Facebook group, which is phenomenal, the
Right.
Wholesaling Real Estate Mastermind.
Thank you.
And just helping people, following the whole go giver mentality, and deals started coming in, and it starts to just relieve a little pressure, just
Oh
to have
gosh,
some
it
of that
really
money
does,
come in.
brother. It really does. So what you told us is like, hey, help others, go giver. Like you said, you have the go giver mastermind,
Yep.
and we started
Mhm.
JVing with people, and for $0, we were there. You
Yeah.
go, the go
Yeah.
giver. For $0 in marketing spend, we were able to recoup and get ourselves out of debt. And yeah, I mean, even because we were in the mastermind, we found a buyer for one of our deals where we made $50,000 on the deal, when we were going to make zero because we couldn't find the right buyer for it. It was a deal where
Right.
you really needed to have someone trust you because the tenant in the house, it was
Oh,
a
I
million.
remember this one, the Colorado one, right?
Yeah, yeah. There was a tenant in the house. The landlord was scared of the tenant because he was a bodybuilder. He has tattoos. He was jacked. He had like diamond piercings in his cheek. So the landlord was like, "I ain't never going over there." And we would, in the tenant like wouldn't leave. So we told all the buyers, it was a screaming deal. It was great. But we would tell the people like, hey, there's the only thing is you can't see the house. It's a deal. Here's some pictures, but you can't see the house. There's a bodybuilder that lives in there. And that everybody's like, I'm not buying that. Nope, nope, nope. Everyone we talked to through the process that we were taught. But then we met someone in the mastermind, Sean Terry's mastermind, and he's like, yeah, I'll buy it. It's a great deal. And I'll go talk to the guy. So he ends up buying it from us. We pays us $50,000 assignment fee. And then he goes and knocks on the door with the bodybuilder and says, hey, look, I bought the house. I'm going to need you to get out. I hope I don't want to have to evict you, have any problems. And the bodybuilder is like, look, man, I'm ready to go. That guy just, I didn't like that guy, but I'll move. And he was out like that. No problem.
That's
And he,
great.
and he ended up making, Brian ended up making, I think, $150,000 on flipping the house. So,
Wow.
so it was a
That is a
win-win. We
screaming
made
deal.
50, got out of debt. He made 150, made a good ton of money. So anyway, the importance of networking, leveraging, go
Mhm.
giving, helping others out, everyone can win. So you helped us out with that. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you. Know what I love about you and Corey is you guys go all in. You guys take action immediately. I
Oh,
think that's a big character trait for people that are successful is take whether you're right or wrong. It's like my wife says it, she said this to me. We were talking about this.
uh-huh.
God cannot drive a parked car. He cannot steer a parked car. So if you're not moving in a direction, he
I
can't
love that.
correct you. Yeah.
I love that.
So
And what's interesting about what you said, like we are the best at taking imperfect action. We'll take action, but it
yeah.
might not be the right stuff. And I was on a call with Jerry Norton one of the calls he was doing. He said imperfect action is the key. It's never gonna be perfect.
Mhm.
And it's people talk about massive action. That's important too, but it's going to be massive and perfect action. You're not going to know what you're doing because I get on calls and you get on calls because you
Yeah.
coach and I do some coaching. A lot of people they're in deal analysis for years and years. And it's like, bro, if you would have just been calling, just get on that Mojo dialer or get a batch dialer and just call,
Yeah.
you probably would have had a deal already. You're just watching too many videos.
Over analyzing a bunch of education, right? So we
Yeah.
get into information. We all do this. I think a lot of us because I think the difference is when you're scared or worried to still take some action. And
Mm,
there's something about building that. There's a momentum that happens. You start getting whether it's a win, it's like a daily win, whether it's like making the calls, making some offers. You may not have the win, you may not have the money in your checking account, but you're starting to get that momentum going.
That's all about the momentum, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That that spiritual momentum, that physical momentum, whatever you got to keep it going in life. You got to have that momentum. And it's really interesting because, like, I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm very transparent. Like today in my wholesaling business, everybody's calling, and the mood, I don't know what it is, man. It just feels really low. I don't know what's going on today. It's just like I look outside, it's kind of a little dark, but everybody goes through that. It's not always like rah rah, like we got deals coming in left and right. And I bet anyone that says that is trying to sell you something. They're lying. That's not how business is. It's at least not my business, Brandon. I mean, it's up and down.
I think if you think about all the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, I love hearing these stories, right? Where they were working in the gym whenever no one else was around, shooting shots, practicing. A lot of the championships are won with no one's watching.
Yep.
That's when the real work's done. When no, it's great to celebrate and throw a check up or a wire and say, "Hey, look at me, I got this done." But the hard work happened a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, bro. No, everyone wants to throw up that check and say, "Hey, I made 80, 50, 20, whatever you're making." And everyone says sees how that works, but they don't want to talk about the squatter that wouldn't leave, and you had to battle that guy to get out, or the title issues, and you've been waiting for that deal to close for a year.
I gotta thank Sean Terry for a lot of the help that he's given me. He's kind of helped push me out of my comfort zone a lot because I would overanalyze, overthink stuff. He's like, just get out, go do it. He's like, basically gave me permission to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that was very powerful because then I felt free. I can do stuff. And we had in what 4 years time, we did over $4 million just in wholesale fees.
That's amazing, man. I love it. So tell the nation, Investors Thrive Nation, or the world, whoever sees this, what can they do? How can you help them like you helped me in my journey? What are you providing the people, so they can grow?
Cool. Thanks. If you go to my website, it's brandontheman.com. You can schedule a call. You can call me, text me. I answer my own phone. You can schedule a call. I do offer some coaching and consulting. Most of the stuff I do right now is consulting with a lot of businesses that are already established, and helping them bring their business to the next level, kind of double the revenue is kind of what the
not
goal
so
is.
much the brand new people that are trying to get their first deal.
Not too much. I do some coaching for new folks, and what I do to help the new folks is the understanding how to do a joint venture, understanding the basics of wholesaling. And what I found is that's the fastest way for them to get checks. A lot of times they get checks in the first 2 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
So that's huge for them to kind of get over that hurdle, and then they get a win. And now they're rolling. We have one of my students is doing an average of a deal with a week with us. We have I don't know if you know who Cody Sperber is.
Yeah, Cody Sperber. Yeah.
So if you go to sendusthedeals.com, we're working together, him and Brian Apples and their partner Garrett. We do nationwide dispositions for people too. So people send us deals, and
what is that again? Send us the deal. Send us your deal.
Sendusthedeals.com.
And that's to help them help you guys dispo.
Yeah, we just help people dispo and joint venture and stuff like that.
Is that what you mean by doing a deal a week? Is that what you meant?
That was one of my students that was doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just consistently doing that, but he would send deals to us to dispo. He would go look at them locked up and then have us dispo for them.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, JVing is great. I mean, no matter what you choose, it's just taking that action, making offers, getting stuff under contract, whether you're doing it marketing directly to the seller or talking to the wholesaler. I mean, I think let me just tell you what I think the problem in this business that most people have is they spend all day on the whirlwind tasks that they think are important. And really what's important is getting offers out and, making sure you get contracts. But there's so much stuff in this business. You're like, do I have a good website? Do I have do whatever, things like that, that aren't that important in the long grand scheme. Like if you're paying a lot of money for PPC, like having a good website does help, but really, like if you're new, it's just you got to get going, take action, start calling, start making offers.
Consistent action. Yeah, I have. So one of my mentors, I have a lot of mentors. Sean Terry's one of my mentors. Claude Diamond's one of my mentors. A lot of the guys in my Go Giver Mastermind, the
Mhm.
REI Mastermind that is here in Phoenix, we have guys that are in there, like all the folks from Batch, Skip Tracy, right?
Mhm.
Evo, Annie, Jesse. We have Steve Trang, Brent Daniels,
Heavy
Cody,
hitters
Sean,
in
a
that
lot of
thing,
others.
huh?
Yeah, a lot. But what's interesting is a lot of them 4 years ago when we started weren't doing 7 figures yet, right? And it was
Wow.
because they all gathered around. It's the spirit of go giving. It's not anything. All I did is help facilitate, right? But they're all sharing the best marketing, the best ideas. And my I have a mentor of mine. His name's Claude Diamond, and he told me this. I don't know if you can see this or not. I don't
It's
know.
it's getting kind of funky. Okay, there it is. New
Rule of
conversation.
five.
Oh,
Basically, you make 5 offers a day, talk to 5 new people a day, follow up with 5 people. Most people don't even do that.
or most people can't even get 5 offers out in a day. Maybe most people don't
Even
even
if they say no, right? Still an offer.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. Since I started doing the Go Giver thing and like giving back, like life has changed because you're just out there more. Like you're trying to give, you're trying to be out, and it's a huge difference than when I first started, and I was just kind of felt like I was on my own, right? But now, like you can leverage people.
You are making a huge difference. People that if they're watching this, are not in your mastermind, the Facebook group, the free Facebook group, it's Wholesale Real Estate Mastermind. You giving away everything, all the good information. You're sharing yourself. You're answering questions.
Yeah,
You're mentoring. You're helping. But also, what I love about real mentorship, it's a two-way street.
yeah,
I'm sure they help you just like you help them. You know, my mentors have helped me. I've helped them. It's a two-way street, and you really are setting an example of what it is to be a go-giver. So
I
I
appreciate it.
appreciate all you and Corey are doing.
Let's go. I got to get. I don't live in AZ, but I got to get to that Go Giver mastermind that you guys got going on.
Please come on down. Come
Dude,
on
so
down.
I'm gonna be in Arizona next week for the Freedom event. So we're bringing Sean, our acquisition guy, Eric, our dispositions guy, me and Corey.
Make
We're
sure
gonna
you're here Wednesday morning then.
we already got tickets Thursday. We get in Thursday night. What's going on Wednesday? Is that the Go Giver thing?
Yep.
Oh dang, I
Yeah.
missed
It's
it.
an exclusive mastermind, right? I've never charged for it. It's invitation only.
Mhm.
But what just to let you know, and I haven't even put this out there even on my website, I don't think. So
Mhm.
we're going to be creating the REI Mastermind, a virtual version of this Go Giver Mastermind, to get
Good
other
idea.
people nationwide involved. A lot of people, so they don't have to travel. And I have guys in my mastermind flying in from Texas every month.
That's awesome, man.
Just
Awesome.
you know, so I want to
You-
make it where it's a lot more accessible for people, but it is going to be invitational. If you want to find out how to join it, just go to my website, set up a call. I'll tell you a little bit about it. But we're not letting just everyone in. They have to have the right mentality. They have to be willing to share and help people.
got one last thing I want to add to that. Have you heard of the program called AirMeet? It's the software that like lets you do meetings
I
like that.
haven't. I've used it whenever my buddy Pace and Jamil were doing a Go Giver thing with Bob Berg.
Yeah.
I haven't really got used to it yet. Have you
Well,
used it?
I did a demo with AirMeet about a week ago. It's very cool. I think if you built your platform, your virtual mastermind off of that, because they have different
Really?
tables you can sit at, like and talk with people inside your tables. You have a stage, and everyone can listen to. So it's literally like an event, but it's virtual. So I think it's really cool.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, do a demo. They do a free demo. If you sign up for free, they'll email you because they want you to sign up, and it's like maybe like $100 a month to have the platform. But I think if you built this thing on AirMeet, I'd go. I think a lot of people would go.
Sure. Yeah, we've just been using Zoom recently. So
Yeah, Zoom works too, but AirMeet's like
yeah,
specifically built for having tables, people sitting together. You can have
love it.
specific tables that are designated for dispo acquisitions, whatever you want, so
Wow.
people can sit together and talk about what they think is important. Yeah, so check it out. But anyway,
I
Brandon, I
will.
really appreciate you taking your time. We'll wrap up now because I like to make these podcasts a little shorter because you know how it is, people with the short attention spans.
Yeah.
But
Well,
anything,
no problem. Thanks for
yeah,
having me.
anything you want to leave the people with like a golden nugget, like a nugget or something that they can just remember? Is there anything you want to drop? Any information you want to drop?
I would highly recommend go and check out Nate's Facebook group. He's dropping golden nuggets every single day.
Yes.
Check it out, and your YouTube channel. I see a lot of cool YouTube videos coming out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It's really for me. I don't know if you talk to my friends and family, and maybe it's a fault of mine, but I really get excited to see my friends, my students, my mentees all succeed. Like that gives me more thrill than anything else. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and I've just started helping more and more people, so I feel like I can see that would be. I mean, I'm not saying nobody has progressed, because I've had a lot of people been like, "Hey, man, you've helped me this," and it does feel great. So, but I'm assuming, I mean, it does feel good.
So just to give you an idea, we have 200 people in my Go Giver Mastermind, the REI Mastermind here in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I've done deals with almost everyone in there, or they've done deals with everyone else in there. Almost everyone's done deals with someone else. So it's just because you're a go giver doesn't mean you don't make any money.
Yeah.
So
it's true. That's cool, man. Well, thanks for dropping those nuggets, and hopefully, everyone that's listening on here will go to BrandonTheMan.com, sign up for a time to chat with Brandon. He can help you in your business, whether it's structuring, your wholesaling operation, business organizations, whatever. Reach out to him because he'll help you out.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Real Estate Nate.
You got it, brother.